Top of the morning to you, good afternoon, good evening to you, depending on when you will be watching the session. Welcome to the lifestyle segment right here at Prime Media TV. I am Ayo. As always, I'll be your anchor for this segment. And today we'll be having a robust conversation on real estate and everything at all that has to do with it. And with us today, we have an accountant, administrator, a project manager, a real estate consultant, and also who is also an entrepreneur who will be having this robust conversation with us. But before we go into all of this robust conversation, let's go on a quick break. And as soon as we get back, we'll dive into the conversation. Welcome back to the show. So with us today on the lifestyle segment is Mr. Gift Okon Jeffrey. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for
It's
having
good
me.
to have you. And my co-host that will be anchoring this segment with me. How are you doing today?
I'm very good.
The one and only living treasure of
Thank
Prime
you
Media
very
TV.
much.
You're welcome as
Thank
well.
you.
So, Mr. Gift would like that you just give us a brief introduction of yourself. We want to know about you. We want to know what is not included in your introduction. We want to know all of the things that are not included in your profile. We'd like that you just give us a quick intro of yourself.
All right. So, thank you very much for having me. I like to start with okay. I've been on this journey for like a decade now. So I started from renting, just doing the normal street things, and then along the line, I got to meet some people, and then they redefined me, and then we're here today. By God's grace, we have a company now, duly registered with Nigeria, and then we're into real estate proper investment. Name it, any kind of thing in real estate, we cover it. So that's what we do, and then I'm here today at your what would I call it? Yes, to also speak about these things so that we all can also learn one or two things and probably not fall victim or have a chance to make the right decisions about our investment.
All right. Your profile states that you're an accountant, and now when I see things like this, I like to ask questions. What would have caused an accountant to delve into real estate? For me, I see it as a two different world. Is it Nigeria
well, partly Nigeria. Nigeria happened, and then there's this path that you go to school, and then you hit the streets, and it's a different reality entirely. So you have to start trying to find your feet, But real estate really has been a kind of what will I call it now? A kind of movement, and it's very fulfilling for me. In fact, it's difficult for me to even what I do with my accounting. This thing is I use it for my personal self, for my company. And all of that. And sometimes if I have to maybe too busy and this, and I have to get a professional this thing just to help me do whatever I needed to do because of time. So, but being an accountant, I love accounting actually, and I still do it. Just that I don't practice it commercially, So, but real estate is very wonderful. Since I found myself in real estate, in fact, I don't want to do much of any other thing,
Wow.
Because I'm fulfilled. Aside from money, I'm kind of fulfilled in the field. When you can be involved in people day to day, like you help people to sort their housing problems, their investment problems, just name it. Real estate is very good. So somehow
all right. I would like to leave the next question to my co-host to anchor, because I know that when it comes to real estate, is a babola of real estate too. So let me just hand it over to him now.
Okay, Mr. Give, we are happy to have you in
Thank
our
you very
midst.
much.
So, being someone who is rooted in the field of, you know, in the business of real estate, we want to. Oftentimes, we've seen people cry, in a place like Lagos. After my life savings and all that, sometimes we see cases of people buying a land, and after paying, you notice that the land does not belong to who sold it to you, or you notice that it is not what you were told before you paid. So that this program is actually to sensitize people, to for people to learn from the mistakes of others and to learn from those who are experts in the field. How do we, sensitize people to stop this scam? What are those things people need to do in order not to fall victim? Sometimes you see a cheap land. Sometimes you see, this person is my person. Is not going to. I trust this person. What are the things to look at in order not to fall victim of land scammers and all that? Is what we are.
All right.
The reason why we have you here today.
Okay, so that question is a very, in fact, it's relevant to probably everybody that wants to go into real estate investing or doing one or two things. I will start with number one. As if you want to do something first, due diligence is very important. You just have to. It doesn't matter who is involved, your friend, your brother. You just have to do your due diligence. That is one. Then due diligence is kind of wide. But then first, if you want to buy a land, first you should even know, okay, this land, what is the title of this land? Okay, who is the owner of this land? We have had cases of a wrong person selling the land and then another owner will come up later. So all those things are the things you need to know. Now, that is for individual. Now, talking about the government side, you also need to know, is this land committed? Is this land free from... There's some committed land that can be regularized. And there's some that cannot be regularized. That is, maybe the government already has, okay, I want to build barrack here, want to build school, want to build hospital. They can't move it. Whatever is on that land has to go down for the government to achieve their aims and objectives. So,
but then I would like to ask, how do you know lands that are regularized? Because sometimes they just take you to these lands,
land that are committed to the government.
You are not even seeing anything on it. You just this is just a good land that I want to buy. So how do you know that these lands are regularized?
So first you need to employ the service of a professional to do due diligence for you. So the due diligence cuts across a lot of
professional
things.
like surveyor.
Yes, surveyor. It could even be a real estate consultant. Okay. So when it gets to the when it has to do with confirming the status of the land, of course, a surveyor will have to pick coordinates, then search the land from the Surveyor General's office, the lands office, a lot of, there are offices that do these things in the ministry, so, but all you need to do is to just get the right person to be able to, of course, it comes with a fee, but if you are to save yourself something that would have cost you millions, you want to get an investment that would cost you probably like 5 billion, and you have to pay like 50 to 150,000 to do your due diligence, I think that is reasonable. But some people will be like, the money is much. At the end of the day, they will fall into the wrong hands and then they'll start crying. So, but you have to do what you have to do to escape this kind of things, so that we won't hear stories that touch the heart, like governments. There was a case, I think, was it last year or so? In fact, I even have a personal thing with a friend. First, there was a land he wanted to buy at the back of Eleganza, that's opposite PAU here after Eleko. So I told him, okay, guy, hold on, let me do the due diligence, because I understand the land use. I don't want him to fall victim. So as a friend, I just did it, and I told him, guy, don't do this thing. When the status came out, it showed that the land has been allocated to a private developer, and family has went ahead and they've gone ahead to sell a lot to people. But thank God I came in and I was able to detect it, and I told him, don't do this thing. Do you know that it wasn't up to a month? They just got Caterpillar and bulldozed the whole place. My friend was just dancing. I was raising. I said, imagine. And he did another one. He did not tell me because it was his cousin. His cousin has a house around there. So he said, because he has already built and all of that. So he went ahead and bought. It was later I now told me. I said, why? You should have told me. He said, his cousin. Do you know that by the time I didn't even check. I just left him, family things. And then later, there was a day my friend just sent me a message and said, do you know anything about ratification? I was like, I knew that there was a problem. Immediately he asked that question, I knew that something has happened. I was like, what happened?
But then I would like to ask a question from here.
Okay.
Who would you suggest people buy land from? The real estate developers like yourself, or they should just go straight to the family that owns this land? Considering that you people, like, if you know yourselves now, and thank God my co-host can relate, you would want to add your own percentage. And people would think that, by the time these real estate people had their own percentage, what would be left for me? So who would you suggest people buy?
Well, I would, because I would say that it's better you just deal with developers, real estate companies, because I tell you, you don't want to imagine the stress. You don't even want to go through the stress with Omoniles. But as a real estate, as a developer, when you're buying land, you are not just buying one land, and then you are buying as a company. And then they cannot mess around with you. There is an extent, and if they mess around, of course, you get them to book, all right? But an individual going to deal with family, they can get away with it. In fact, we've had cases like that, and then, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can really do. These people are they are, how will I call it? I don't want to use some certain words, but these people they have strong allies. So when you just check it, at the end of the day, your money will just go like that. But if you are getting it from a developer, a renowned developer, a developer that you have done your due diligence already, you know that, okay, this person is cool. So if you get it from someone like that, when they get the land, they do the normal papers, or even if, they're always doing something, like perfecting the papers and all of that. It's not in a day that you perfect papers, but at least you start the process.
Okay.
Once you start the process and everything, you're good.
All right. I would like to ask you, sometimes we see people or cases where houses that have been in existence for years, all of a sudden we hear that the government wants to demolish the place, and we know that in Lagos State it's not possible for you to have built without going through some procedures and all that. So now, what do we say could be the reason why people, after undergoing these processes, still have their buildings demolished? Is it that the offices they visited under the minister of under the ministry are not the right offices? Or why do we have cases of people who has gone through the due process still have their building demolished? Okay,
I would like to correct a notion there. You said all houses that have been built in Lagos State have actually visited the right offices to get their approvals. I would say it's actually false.
Okay.
It's not true, because Lagos State government just came up with something, I think 2 months ago. This July would be the end of the amnesty window. That is a lot of, in fact, it will interest you to know that a lot of houses on this Ibejileki corridor does not have approval. It will interest you to know. So that is why Lagos State government came up with the amnesty window. That is, normally you're supposed to be before you even build a house, you're supposed to get your plans and everything approved. Government is supposed to see that, okay, this thing is in conformity with what we needed for this area, because for every area there is an approved kind of a building and all of that, the seaside, depending on what you want to build.
Yeah.
So now, because Lagos State government see that this is a serious problem, that is why they came up with the amnesty window. And then I think it started from May, June, July. This is July. So anybody that does not have building approval prior to this time, you can actually walk up to the town planning office in your area or go to Alausa. They will waive the penalty fee for you, and then they would do the normal this thing, and you would, that is the window. But for anybody that does not take that window, definitely the government is coming for them. That is one. All right. Then two, for the demolitions and all of that. I said something earlier. I said there are some land that are committed, there are some that are not committed, and there are some that it can be ratified. Now, if you build on government land, maybe government has already planned that they want to build like a school, or maybe it could be anything, that kind of house will go down. So a lot of people, what they do is they don't do due diligence. They just get the land. Like this my friend story that I told you now. It's just that one came quicker. All right. What if the person did not come in the next 15 years and they had already built the house and everything? It doesn't change the fact that government has already marked that place for a different purpose entirely. So whenever the purpose is to be fulfilled, the person will have to move for the government. And the government, it doesn't matter how many years. It could be 10, it can come early, it can come later, but definitely they will come. So how do we escape from this mess? The only way to escape is to make sure that before you buy your land, ensure that you do all your due diligence. Make sure that, okay, this land is free. First, it is free from government acquisition. For instance, like 2 months ago, I was trying to get land around Okegun. So I saw the land, like you said, you make mention of something that cheap land. I saw the land and I'm like, okay, we can do something. But knowing that this thing, I don't want to get my hands burned because I know the rules. I started doing my due diligence. In fact, the first one came out, said no, don't do it. It's not. I said okay, I don't even mind, even if it's an acquired land. Can I regularize it? We were on it for like a month. Then I realized they told me don't do it, from the lands office. Don't do it. I said okay, fine. If that is the case, hands up. Imagine if I go ahead and buy that land because I know that the land, the Fort Milan Bridge is passing through all it has it's not even because of now I'm buying. I was thinking that okay, this place has a very good future, and then I now buy the land. I started selling to people. You understand? I'll get my money initially, but do you know that what is coming in the future, I will not be able to hold it. Exactly. All right, they will definitely pull down that place because there's no how you will do it. I have checked all the system, and it is crystal clear that this place is committed. But some people will still go ahead and buy because of their own personal gains. All right, and at the end of the day, you start seeing issues like they are breaking houses, they are doing all of that. Most times is the error is not from the government. Most of the time, I'm not saying that government is actually 100% clean. All right, but most times the error is not from the government. The error is always from the people. Individuals.
You
yes.
want it cheap.
You want it cheap, and they are not doing what they are supposed
corners.
to do. Yes.
All right. I would like to know. We are gradually rounding up because our time is almost up. I would like to know how you get to determine the value of a land or a property that you want to acquire for your company. Since you said you get the land and whatever property you're getting it as a company before you sell it out to people. So how do you get to determine the value?
Well, every area has a going price. Like you don't expect Ikoyi now to be the price of Lekki. You don't expect Lekki to be the price of Ajah. And it depends on number one. Depends on the what will I call it now? It depends on how open the place is. But most times, it actually depends on how open the place is, how civilized the area is, and how the nearness to market, the nearness to healthcare, the nearness to road, all those things. If a road is one of the major determinants, you can imagine 5 years ago, more than 5 years was not. Ekpe was selling for like 50 to 150,000.
Yeah.
All right. So when our mother came, he opened up all the roads in Ekpe, and the next thing, boom, price started going up. By now, you see land of 25 million, even more in Ekpe, but it wasn't so years ago. So it all depends on the going prices of the area. So that is, you can't really say this is a fixed amount of what it is. Yeah.
All right. Now let's come back to you. As you are a real estate developer with your own company. So what is your company doing now? Are you offering a discount currently? How can we assess you? And all of those GC offers that come from real estate developers. Give us hints. We never can tell. Our viewers may be ready to drop the money immediately.
At OK Homes right now we have Living Spring and Smart Homes, and then it's at where currently we are. In fact, it's somewhere you can even start building immediately. So currently we are on a pre-launch price of 5 million. So, but after launching the estate, of course, the price will be about like from 8.5 upwards. So, but for now, we are still, because we are doing pre-launch, we are still trying to accommodate our people. So, the earlier you come, the better. And we also have some other projects in the pipeline, like the OK Homes apartments. We have a Victory Court that's in what's it called, in K2 area, but that one is not on for sale now because we're still doing some underground work. So we want to perfect everything before we want to be sure of what we're bringing. So, but we are already more than half 50% into the transaction and all of that.
All right. So I would like to know if you are open to investments. You see, people, for instance, somebody like me personally, when it comes to investment, I'm looking for how to invest in real estate, and because there is no proper understanding as to how the investment goes. So first, the question first is, are you open to investments? And if you are open,
definitely we are open to investment.
How is the investment plan?
Okay. We are open to investment. In fact, we are not here for ourselves. Okay. We are here to
for everybody.
For everybody, yes. Yeah. So for the investment aspect, it all depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at land banking, if you're looking at buying the property and then leaving it for some time, of course, property is one of the things that over time it appreciates. If you buy a property in January this year, by the end of January, by the end of the year, you would most likely have like 20 to 100%, depending on the area, like 20 to 100% return on investment. So, like for us in our property, the one at Temo at Ekpe, that's the luxury and the Living Spring Luxury and Smart Estate. We offer payment plan, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. So, but we can do 3 months without extra charges. So we'll still consider it outright. But for 6 months and 12 months respectively, even 24 months, it comes with its own charges, maybe 10%, 20%, 30%, depending on the duration that you are willing to go for. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any question for him? Because I want him to sell himself right now.
Okay. I just want to, for our viewers, you have said it that now, regardless of who and how much the land is going for, that no amount is worth losing. Mm-hmm. All right, and regardless of who the person is, the procedures should be observed.
Definitely.
All right.
To do due diligence.
The due diligence. So is the area, or like want you to say it again to our viewers, that it could even be your dad, it could be anybody, all right, that the right things should followed in their right process to avoid it, because oftentimes sometimes individuals who miss this track, who miss this step, they want to make it look as if the government is wicked.
Yeah.
These are moneyless, are these, and these are people who feel like, this one is cheap. If I don't pay now, somebody else will go pay. Stuff like that. They will always be land. So I don't know if you just buttress that point.
Nigerians, we like free things. We like, shortcuts most times
lead to destruction.
Leads you to long, like you now have to travel like twice or even more than 3 times the time we were supposed to use initially. So I would advise the viewers, my prospective investors.
Okay, yeah.
I'll advise you that when you want to go into any form of land investment, please get a professional. You might not be able to do it yourself because you don't even know the right questions to ask. That's why people like us are here. We also do due diligence for people.
Okay.
All right. So you get the right people, the right professional to help you ascertain if this thing is okay or not okay, black and white. All right. Don't be emotional about this whole thing. Just do what you're supposed to do, and then you'll be able to enjoy your investment.
But this thing is now, this due diligence thing is now looking like it is meant for the rich, because when people hear real estate, they feel like, the real estate is for the rich. Like one Iyalata that is on the street now, can those people too approach you and say, okay, help us to do this due diligence? Will it not lead to them spending too much money and all of that? So due diligence, is it just for some set of people or for anybody?
Due diligence is for everybody. It doesn't matter if you cannot afford to hire the service of a professional. You can just go deeper yourself. All right. Ask more questions. Excuse me. At least you can. There's no matter how you are, whatever, you still pay for the service of a surveyor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You cannot buy a land without having a survey plan. That's where the truth is, most of the houses you see around, their land doesn't even have a survey plan. And if you don't even have a survey plan, how do you want to know if the land? Like a lot of things. So, but if you have to buy a land, no poor man. All right, no poor man. If you can afford
to buy
a land,
you should be able to afford the process.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, you want to say something?
Yeah. You see, all I want to say is that when it comes to land issue, just like you have your phone, you have a screen guard. If you can afford to buy a big phone and you say you don't want to buy a screen guard, all right, you are the one to bear the consequence, especially when you're using Samsung.
When your screen breaks,
all right.
Or when you're using an iPhone.
No, iPhone is not as expensive.
All right,
so when your Samsung screen breaks, it's the new one.
Yeah.
It's the entire.
Exactly.
So you should know that whether in Lagos State or anywhere in Nigeria, if you're buying land, there are processes.
Yes.
There are processes, and while we have our big man in the show today is to further educate people, so you don't make it look as if the government hates you. Sometimes your ignorance is your enemy. All right, so nobody hates you. Do the right thing. Just like you mentioned the case that if not that there was a quick approach from the government about that, it could sometimes, like you say, it could take 10 years, it could take 15 years after you have built, and you already assume you are a landlord, you're already living as a landlord. So because of all this trauma that comes after demolition and all that, we should try our best to ensure that we follow the due processes. Even if sometimes why it is advisable to approach the real estate people is because some of the moneyless do not even know the right thing.
Exactly.
So when two blind people are going the same way, all right, Pete is waiting for you guys in the front. So when you are buying from people who knows the process, or even the ones you don't know, they will educate you.
Definitely.
Buying from moneyless, sometimes they don't even know that the land is committed.
They don't.
They inherited the land from their great grandfather, so they don't even know. Some of them are not educated.
Sometimes they know.
Yeah,
They just out of their own dubious this thing, they don't want to collect your money. You understand? I've seen cases that they sell one land to different people, like 3 or 4 people. So all of you will now be fighting on the land.
Exactly.
Can you imagine?
Especially when this land happen to be in a good location.
Yes.
So when this person come, they will take you to it happened to a friend of mine. He bought land and you come for it, especially when they know that you are more financially strong than the other person. They will give the land to you. The other person, they will give the person land in a swampy place. You have no option than to take it.
Exactly.
All right. So, but that is why it's good. Sometimes when you say real estate is expensive, it's better to buy one and be sure that you have it than to say this one is cheap. Let me buy here and buy here. Last, government will collect all and leave you with none.
Is wicked.
No, government is not wicked.
So we've been able to establish the fact that even the government are putting measures in place to ensure that people don't lose their property. And for the amnesty plan thing, I'm just hearing about it.
No, amnesty is not all about Niger data.
I'm just hearing about it.
It's actually as build permits, like that is for the people that did not do what they were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Before.
So governments now, even government too, does not like it when the masses cry. So they came up and said, okay, how can we mitigate this issue? Okay, let us put, that was why they now brought the amnesty window. Okay, for you that have not done your building.
So what are those things that they've not done that requires them to go for that amnesty?
Basically, the first, before you can even go for the approval, you need to be sure that the land you are building on,
or you have built
on is actually free from government acquisition. Because there is no how you get approval if the land is committed. You cannot. All right. So you see how. So if that is the case of somebody, just know that. And just be praying to God.
It's possible for people in the houses of Ibejuleki to fall victim of this thing, because before now they never expected the massive transformation that is coming to that houses of Lagos. This road, the new road, the airport, the seaport brought about, and the way estate has moved towards that houses, it has really brought about massive and unexpected transformation. So it's possible that many people, many houses are victim of this.
Yes.
Now, on this amnesty window, now, I would like to know that is it just for people with acres of land, or people with fields?
No, that is not even. It's not about land now. It's about building. The amnesty is for building.
Okay.
For those that have built without getting their building approval, that is still about real estate. All right. So this kind of people, government now came together and like, okay, these people have put value on their land, so it won't just be good for us to just go and scatter it. So if you have not done your what's it called, if you don't have your building approval, okay, approach the government with whatever you have. Let us work out the modality so that you can have your building can be approved. You are now free from the government.
All right. You see, there's a lot of conversation because I've not asked all my question. I'm not done asking my question. I don't know why the producer is looking at me like that. But then, on a final note, if we want to reach OK Homes now, because we look forward to having you again, because there's still a lot of things that need to be unfolded. But then, before then, we want to reach OK Homes now. How do we access you, your handles, or your social media handles, your phone numbers? How can we access you?
Okay, so we have our office at kilometer 46 Fire Shopping Mall. That's where our office is. And then we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook. On Facebook, OK Homes at facebook.com. On Instagram, OK_Homes at Instagram. So our phone numbers, am I allowed to call it out? Okay, all right. +234 8167249211. That is our business handle. The second one also on Instagram. Also on WhatsApp. +234 9013319874. So those are the two numbers that you can reach us with anytime.
All right. Thank you so much for gracing the the interview, because this is,
Thank
in
you for
fact,
having
it's
me.
not enough. Next time when we are bringing you, we are going to put you on another segment that will be longer than this. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having
So
me.
to our viewers, thank you all so much for staying tuned with us till this time. But before we leave the studio, we'd like that you follow us on all our social media handles. On Facebook, we're Prime Media TV. On Instagram and TikTok, we're Prime Media Studios. On the website where you're currently watching us, we are enginespeak.com. And you can do well to follow us on YouTube at Enginespeak. I am Ayo. Until I come your way again, do have a great day. Bye.